I noticed that I've been getting a lot of flack lately for gaming in whatever platform I choose, and it's kind of a bizarre thing for me because I tend to just use the tool for the job. So I kind of wanted to talk about my Linux story with you guys in a live format since I am doing that. If you see a lot of live stuff from me lately, it's because I have an awesome thing called Patreon, and I have a whole bunch of patrons right now on it, and they're on my IRC, and things are just fantastic and shiny and amazing. So this is going to be a little bit of a riff, but hopefully you'll still like it. Um, my God, 7 years ago? How long has it been since you've installed Linux? Like the first time, right? 7 years ago. Um, I installed it and I'm like, hey, I'm really bored. I'm like semi-involved in school. I'm gonna go ahead and install Linux. So I installed it, and I use that word a lot, a lot. But yeah, this is off the cuff, so please still love me. And then when I was playing around with it, I think I first used Debian, and I'm like, could this replace Windows? And I'm like, hell no, unfortunately not. I need my games. So this is eventually going to get into the slow progressive, progression into awesome, because I remembered messing around with Wine, and I was thinking in my head, and this was really not that long ago, just being like, oh God, if Wine is not an emulator, screw you guys. um, if Wine is the only thing that we have to look forward to as gamers, I'm probably never going to switch, to gaming in Linux. So, but that's not to say that there aren't people out there. I ended up configuring my, it's basically Wine is like you can create an environment in which games will run, and on Linux. And I ended up running like UT 2004, and that was awesome. But it took so long, and it was just like, this is not good. It just shows how dedicated gamers are to set up those kinds of environments, and I am just not that good of a person. So 2009 rolls around after a couple years, and Ubuntu really did it for me, actually. I remember starting up Ubuntu and going to the Ubuntu Software Center and seeing World of Goo, and I'm just like, awesome. This is progress. This is epic winning. I'm going to probably try harder, And so as much as people want to bash Canonical, they have really pushed gaming in Linux to the forefront. So, yeah, they had like 5 games, and I just also thought of like this weird ADD tangent of going to Disney World and like seeing Tux Racer. I think I have a status update about that somewhere along the line, but I saw that and I was just like, yes, we are winning at no, I mean Tux Racer is pretty terrible. Everybody knows that. So then I was like, okay, still having those 2 separate computers to do all the things. I use my Linux box to pretty much surf the internet and do things that yeah, it felt more secure to me. It was just freeing. It was pretty awesome. And then Humble Indie Bundle came around, and yeah, that was like back in 2009, 2010, and they were like, hey, guess what? All of our games are going to be released for Linux. And that was just freaking awesome. Like, I couldn't even imagine that situation. Like, I was like, okay, well, these games are kind of crap, to be honest. They're indie. I'm not saying indie and crap are synonymous, but if you come from like a gaming background where you're like, I played BF2 religiously. I was in a clan, for God's sakes. Like, I made those stupid SIGs that you put in forums, and like I frequented it all the time, and I was like competitive. So to me, I need that level of performance. So, I'd be willing to like put some awesome components and epic hardware in my rig if my Linux box would run, pretty epic games, and we'll get to that later. So Humble Indie Bundle was freaking phenomenal to kind of bring out casual gamers, like, and they still are, like, they're still doing their thing. And I'd highly suggest going to their Wikipedia if you want to see like the litany of all games and all things that you'd be into, but still like pretty on the casual side. And then there was Steam. I'm taking notes, but I'm pretty much ad-libbing this, so hopefully y'all be okay with it. If you guys don't know what Steam is, you've been living under a rock. No, I just have a lot of videos about it. Go check those out. But it's a digital distribution platform, and it changed everything. And just to set the record straight, Canonical, the ones that we like to bash all the time, had a huge part in Steam going to Linux. I had sit downs with these guys talking about gaming and Linux. Like all these things that were happening behind the scenes happened. So it was pretty awesome. So Steam is the distro, it's a controller, it's a specification, it's freaking amazing. So if you want a strategy game, you don't have to deal with Dwarf Fortress. God, I mean, Dwarf Fortress is good, but it's a Linux game, and people tend to equate Linux games with shittiness. Not even indiness, just shittiness. Okay? They're separate. So if you want a strategy game, Steam on Linux, Europa Universalis is one of the most intense, even more so than Civilization, like knock your socks off, right? And then if you want an FPS, you have Borderlands pre-sequel, and that's available for Linux now. So this is now 2015, and we have those caliber games like in our hands. Does that give you goosebumps? Like, that's the question. I'm just freaking amazed by all of it. So World of Goo has its place, but I can also play my hardcore games. I also, two E3s back, I was like on the lookout for a perfect Steam box. And so what a Steam box is you can have like, what I'm imagining is kind of like a smallish form factor, and it's like your entertainment center for your living room. It's your console. I'd love to know how many of you guys play on console as well as PC, because I used to be 100% first-person shooter, 100% PC, like wrist support. You don't even want to know. It's pretty nerdy. And now I'm like, if I'm going to play this game, for instance, Fallout 3 was my most relevant example. If I'm going to play Fallout 3, I want to sit on my ass on the couch. And I've created HTPCs, and I've sat on my ass on the couch, and it's not the same. So the Steam box is designed to use big picture mode of Steam and fuse it together to make a Linux platform gaming console. Like, what? Right? So this is freaking epic. However, to go back to the very, very beginning, I don't use it. I use a PS4. And I got a lot of shit from you guys. A lot of you were pretty cool, but I did get, some like hate on, why are you playing? You said it's a Linux game. You're not playing on Linux. My neck beard. I must shave someday. That is not today or ever. And I'm not trying to smack you down for it, but I'm saying like use the best tool for the job. So for me, in my situation, I'm not giving excuses, but this is my Linux drive. Like, this is my Linux partition is on this drive, and it's nuked. And I'm pretty traumatized by it. And it's going to take me quite a while to actually freaking deal with it. So in the meantime, I'm playing on the PS4. Why? Because I can stream on Twitch, and it does picture-in-picture. Means my face is a nice little applique over my gaming and my sound. Do I have a capture card to try to do it on Linux when I can? Yes, I do. Am I trying to make a Steam box? Yes, I am. I just don't have the crazy budget for it. So that's my little saga, my little story about my gaming scenario on Linux. I'd love to hear yours. And if you want to check out my streams on GeekBuzz, head over to, well, there's going to be a link for you guys to check out. And yes, some of that might be on PS4 for all the reasons I explained. In the very near future, I will be using a Steam box. I will be vlogging about it and just geeking out immensely. But until that time, I'm using the PS4, or I'm using Steam's new broadcast feature, and try that out. But also, if that's not your thing, if you're not into watching game streams on my new Twitch channel, which is totally acceptable. But yeah, you just heard the Nixie rant in all of its splendor. And yeah, I will be doing a more formulaic what you're used to in my videos about like the engines and like the developer experience and stuff like that. And that'll stay on OSL. So, all right, I hope that you will watch me game the most amazing games and all the things. I wonder if I can do it. Thanks for watching OSL. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on next episode of All Things Open Source. Oh, that's nerve-wracking. Cool.